We spent most of last week in South Texas and learned something interesting from Governor Perry. He told a congressional hearing that the feds are robbing Texas of resources. California, Arizona, and New Mexico all have 17 agents for every mile of border. Texas, though, Governor Perry says, only has 7 agents for each mile. One congressman taking a closer look at the growing problem is Republican Michael Burgess, making his second trip there to see the problem firsthand. We met him in McAllen to talk about the children he saw and what the federal response should be. Congressman, good to see you down here in the valley.
Yes, yeah, thanks for making time to let me come by.
Absolutely. Tell us what you saw.
Well, I did two points of today. One was to actually be on the river, on the Rio Grande River, and see what Customs and Border Patrol is up against, what the terrain is like, what the many paths down to the river from the Mexican side look like. You know, of course, everyone is focused on the here and now, and I get that. I mean, I saw the faces of the children there sitting on the hard concrete benches, and I get that. But, oh my gosh, the first lady from Honduras was here over the weekend. I mean, I would think the first step is to make it as plain can be in the country of Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador. Don't send your children on this trip. Or if you're in this country working, don't send for your children to make that trip.
But how can she stop that as a first lady?
Well, she actually has the bully pulpit in Honduras. No one in Honduras is going to listen to me. I get that. But when she goes back home, she needs to make it plain to her people. She saw the suffering. I read her Facebook page. I read her Facebook posts. It's a pretty tough deal that she was going through. Well, don't let the kids get on the trek up here in the first place. I thought the president missed a chance when he had his press conference in the Rose Garden, and it was a relatively understated statement that, and if you're thinking of coming up here, don't come. That's right, that's the right message, but the wrong inflection, Mr. President. It needs to be much more emphatic.
How far should the House GOP go to stop him, do you think?
Well, it's not a question of stopping the president. It's getting the president engaged in stopping this process. I wish the president would come down here. I wish he would go through the processing facility that I saw this afternoon. Yeah, it breaks your heart to see 5 and 6 and 7-year-old boys and girls sitting on hard concrete benches, and just to imagine the horror that they must have been through getting through the jungles of Mexico to get up here. But, Mr. President, let's do everything we can to stop it before it starts, and that's where the White House can play a role. That's where the White House has the bully pulpit. That message would get transmitted. What you and I say here today, no one's going to pay any attention to that, and certainly down in Honduras and El Salvador and Guatemala. But if the president said it, it takes on a certain importance, it takes on an immediacy, and the president could reverse this process.
This is not your first trip to the valley. Seeing those children, when you saw them over there, the age, did that change your thoughts about any of this?
It tells me that we must do everything we can to stop the migration from occurring in the first place. The kids that are here, yeah, I mean, it's a tough deal. And
what should happen to those children?
Well, the process that's happening now is what will continue to happen. But it's, you know, I'm just telling you, it's not a good deal for them. Yes, they are well taken care of. Yes, the Office of Refugee and Resettlement does the work that they've been tasked to do. Yes, FEMA does the work that they've been tasked to do. Yes, the Border Patrol does the work that they've been tasked to do. And they're all working their hearts out to take good care of these kids and families. At the same time, this is not where they belong. They belong back home. And that would be my thinking, stop it from happening in the first place.